love it when my computer decides to Windows update right as we get started recording.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Welcome to One Storyteller, where we are going through Fellowship of the Ring. We have finished part 1 of book 1. Well, it's really called book 1 in book 1. And now we're in book 2 in book 1, which is part 2 of book 1. I hate that Tolkien did this. I'm Reagan.
I'm Andrew.
And why did he do this again?
What? I think he originally intended to publish it as like 6 books. And they were like, there's some economic issue. People are like, please don't. You could do it as 3 books, right? He's like, okay, sure.
Okay.
And then he organized it to be published that way.
So he's like the anti-Peter Jackson, because he turns 6 books into 3 instead of 1 book into 3 movies.
Yes, there is something there.
Interesting. I guess The Lord of the Rings must be the worst movies ever made. Andrew's going on record saying that, I think.
They're not the worst movies.
Wow.
Are
they the best movies?
No.
Wow.
No.
That's incredible. So, we all know how incorrect you are. Okay. That's a good start to the episode.
Sure.
We are in chapter 13, or chapter 1, depending on how you look at it. Mini meetings.
Yes.
It's easier to just use the title. Although, I guess I'm just going to title it chapter 13 for the YouTube video.
Yeah, just as like a very irrelevant note, it's a great way to introduce a thought.
Yes.
Is the division into part 1 and part 2 makes a lot more sense in like Two Towers and Return of the King, where it's easier to follow.
Okay.
Because the first part will be about not Frodo and Sam.
That's fair.
And the next part will be about Frodo and Sam.
And they don't even run parallel, do they? Or not exactly?
More or less. There are some bits of it getting ahead for Frodo and Sam.
Yeah, the Shelob section at the end of Two Towers actually takes place during the start of Return of the King for the rest of the characters, which is why the movies did it that way, because it makes sense. Yeah, it's almost like that was a good design decision.
Okay.
Anyhow, they are great. Anyway, so mini meetings.
Yes.
You don't have many thoughts on this, or less thoughts on this than...
Well, that's not saying much. So we have less to say about this chapter than the next chapter.
Yeah, so we may we will get through this chapter, probably, definitely. And then we may get a little bit into the next chapter, Council of Elrond, because Council of Elrond is quite long, and you have way more notes on this than anything else.
Yes.
And so we will chat about that. We may do a little bit of that this episode, and then try to do all the rest of it next episode, or maybe it gets stretched out, but hopefully not.
Hopefully.
We'll just see how that ends out. So basically, up until this point, Frodo has been on a journey, and then I guess book 1 ended with a cliffhanger of, is Frodo alive? And the answer is obviously yes. He shows up, he wakes up, and he just starts meeting a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And I guess the chapter is aptly named, even though it's
sweet. It's nice. He's meeting people.
It's great. He says hello to Gandalf is there.
Yes.
He says hello to Aragorn, ends up being there. He says hello to Sam. Mm-hmm. He says hello to Bilbo. He says hello to Glowin, which is literally just there to satisfy the Hobbit readers, but I'm sure there's more plot. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he is.
But it's still cool.
Yeah, that's basically the plot of this chapter. I feel like you could probably skip a lot of this and not miss too much. I know there is important stuff.
What do you mean not too much?
There are like 2 paragraphs of what Gandalf says that's actually super relevant. Sure. And the rest of it is like vague characterization, but it's primarily just descriptions. If you are
on a breakneck race to like develop plot, then sure. But that's not the only point of a book.
Yes.
Or even of a chapter in a book.
Okay.
Because you need we're sharing with Frodo and like, okay, even if we don't understand exactly why the Nazgul did everything they did, it was still pretty scary, right?
It was pretty scary. Agreed.
And after being on the road for like a month, I think it's a month.
something like that.
Now he can
Yeah, because they
can
left on his
rest,
birthday.
kind of
right after
reset.
Mm-hmm.
That's important.
This is the boring moment before the exciting stuff
Oh
happens.
my
You do
goodness.
need breathing room.
Yes,
I
yes.
understand. Like, I understand why this is here, and it is nice from like a meta point of view to have Elrond the city, Rivendell, the elf city, to be like a natural resting place.
Yeah.
For what Frodo has just gone through. It's been all to get up to the elves and see the elves. Sam has kind of completed his quest even more now, his initial quest. And so it is nice that this is the moment where there gets to be a bit of a respite, but also it does not make for the most exciting of a chapter.
Sure, it's not. I can understand that.
Yeah. So I would argue not much happens here. You don't. This chapter doesn't do anything to push the plot forward. Very little.
I think that's basically true.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, then I guess we can just skip it.
No.
Okay.
See,
So
no, definitely not.
So Frodo wakes up. He is at peace. He is listening to the sound of a waterfall, which is like the first detail that's thrown in there.
Based.
So he has passed over the river.
Have you ever woken up hearing a waterfall?
Probably.
It's pretty cool.
Probably.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. It's water. I mean,
It's very nice.
yeah. Okay. I'm not that impressed with water, but that's cool.
Rip, man.
Rain is good. Rain is waterfall,
Okay.
but on a
Yes.
massive scale.
Yes.
Yeah. Sounds a lot nicer too. Anyway, Frodo is there. He's listening to a waterfall, which the idea of waterfalls do get brought up a few times in the Rivendell chapters.
Yes.
And so it's like it's that water, that journey, that transition point keeps coming
Oh,
up, and it's
yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
in the back of Frodo's mind, but it is peaceful because he's reached a point in his journey where he can rest for the moment, although he won't be able to rest forever.
Right.
And that's that's especially in the next chapter is really where that comes up.
Right.
So Gandalf shows up. Frodo asks
Yes.
what time it is, and Gandalf answers him finally. Gandalf's
Yeah, and
actually
you
there.
know he's having a bit of fun. He's like, he doesn't know I'll be here, but I'll answer what time it is.
Yes, he does. He
It's-
does indeed.
It's pretty fun.
The morning of October the 24th. I think they left on September the 23rd, right?
That's
Because
right.
they had
Yes.
yeah. He left Bag End anyway on the 23rd. So yeah, it was just over a month. He came into Rivendell a couple days before this, so he came in like right at the 1 month mark, and is now waking up right on the other side of it. Gandalf is a little irritated or agitated that it was such a close call.
Well, yeah, and that makes sense. He cares
Understandable.
about Frodo.
Yeah,
He cares about defeating Sauron.
yeah,
So it's like, that was really close, guys.
yeah. And when I read this, I couldn't really tell. Do you think he's mad at himself, or do you think he's mad at them?
I think he's later details, like in the next chapter, will show.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like he might be a little annoyed at Frodo. It's like,
For not leaving when he was.
but he even
asked
gave
to.
Frodo permission to wait.
Yeah.
Like he's definitely far more annoyed or frustrated at himself.
Yeah.
He's like, man. Next chapter, he's gonna say, "I've never been captured or delayed before, man.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was
this has
really
never
bad
happened."
timing." Yeah.
Yeah. So there is a mention that he is delayed by something,
Yes.
which
Ooh.
Gandalf doesn't tell us until
He's
his.
like, I can't tell you in brief, even though he probably could.
He could. I wish he would, but it doesn't happen. Fine. He's just he was captured, and then we'll find out a lot of details about that in the next chapter.
Well, see, I would be kind of exasperated too if, like, Gandalf's like, oh, well, I can't tell you right now, but
Yeah.
it would create a ton of questions for Frodo.
Yeah.
And Gandalf's like, I don't want to deal with that right now. So that's
Fair enough. Well, he could answer it in a way that
Sure.
doesn't get questioned. Spoiler alert: it was Saruman.
Yes.
Like, hey, the guy who I answer to and kind of listen to, he ended up being bad, and he tricked me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you more about it later. I mean, I feel like that would put Frodo's question to rest without raising too many more, because he doesn't know about all the wizards and stuff, and he doesn't.
Well,
like,
yeah.
That's just
I guess that's sort of the perspective
not
I
something
was
he goes
saying. Like,
into.
since he doesn't know,
Yeah.
he might ask a lot of questions.
I guess that's fair, but he
Yeah.
is sleepy, and so he goes right back to sleep.
Yeah.
That's basically what that is. There are a few different things that Gandalf does say, even though he will not tell about his journey.
Yeah.
He mentions that Aragorn is a ranger,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess we haven't known up until this point.
Well, we know
we
that
have.
he's a ranger.
Yeah.
He says, and Frodo's like,
Oh, right.
Strider is a ranger, but he's also the king.
Yeah.
Like, he's descended from these ancient kings.
Yeah.
And Gandalf's like, that's exactly who the rangers are,
Yeah,
man.
all the rangers have this ancient elf human blood running through them. It's from the Baron and Luthien line,
Yes.
I believe.
That's right.
And so, yes, that is confirmed of, like, this is no ordinary human being, essentially. He's something special. That puts Aragorn in a class of his own. He is very much like Gandalf in terms of capability, sure, but also, like, he's just a unique being. There are only a few of him.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's quite like him, and that's going to become very important going forward, I think.
Yeah.
But we'll hold off for when that actually happens. Let's see. There is also a mention that Aragorn is, like, upholding this noble legacy of his people that no one else can do. He's protecting his people, but he's not known.
Yes.
Which is something that Aragorn will bring up to Boromir in the next chapter.
Yes, I really, really like that interaction there.
Yeah, and so that's foreshadowed here.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, this is like the pitch for the next chapter.
Yeah.
Like, you have some breathing room before,
Mhm.
like, the pretty dense discussion,
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
Yeah.
Even though I love both these chapters, and especially the Council of Elrond.
Yes.
But you get to kind of rest and recuperate, and you're getting just, like, set up these soft pitches for what Elrond's chapter is going to try to
Yeah.
bat into larger context, I guess.
Here's a plot thread. We'll talk about this later.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works. Not my favorite, but it works.
Yeah. There is two things I thought were interesting Gandalf says.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is, like, a little smaller, and one of them I think is just fits into, like, the huge, really important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Theme, rather. One of them is Frodo says, I didn't know any of the big people were like Strider. I thought they were all kind of evil and stupid like Bill Ferny, or nice and stupid like Butterbur.
Mm-hmm.
And Gandalf's like, you still don't know a lot about people if you think Butterbur's stupid.
Yeah.
Which I think that's cool of Gandalf.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, like, Butterbur is, like, this distracted, sort of frantic fellow.
Yeah.
But he's noble in his own way, and Gandalf
Mm-hmm.
was like, he's smart in his own way. It's like he just takes some time to arrive at where it's at. That doesn't mean he's stupid.
Yeah.
So I think that's neat. And kind of pushing against Frodo's human prejudices.
Yeah. Although, I mean, arguably he is a little bit thick.
Sure.
He's a little bit dumb, but Gandalf can see, like, a silver lining even despite those things.
Mm-hmm.
And he is generally reliable.
Yes.
Apparently that was a wild chance that it happens.
That he
Shouldn't have
delayed the
happened.
letter.
Yeah. But that's more in the next chapter, I think, that gets
Well, like,
mentioned
spelled out,
specifically. Yeah.
The other thing is, a little before talking about Butterbur,
Mm-hmm.
Gandalf makes this comment about, I think it's what made you ask, was Gandalf frustrated at Frodo or himself?
Yeah.
Gandalf says, I was delayed, and that nearly proved our ruin.
Yeah.
And yet I'm not so sure. It may have been better that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's sort of like in the aftermath of the Prancing Pony, we read about the 5 Hobbit ponies.
Yeah.
How they were spared a hard road, but
Mhm.
didn't make it to Rivendell. Like this comment, Gandalf's thinking about Frodo that way,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like in movies and stuff, and even in this story, if you want to show the hero growing, you have to take the really powerful mentor out of the picture.
Yeah.
Because even though mentors are immensely helpful, that does sort of hamper growth in a way.
Yeah.
Because as long as they're in the picture, you're going to be relying on the person Or probably. If you
Mhm.
have any sense, you're going to be relying on the person with more experience than you.
Yeah.
And even though you can learn a lot from other people, you can't really replace making your own decisions.
They have to get taken out eventually so that the individual can grow,
Yeah.
which is you have to grow with a teacher for a while, and then you have to grow apart from a teacher for
Yeah.
a while.
So this is a very meta comment from Gandalf.
It
He's
can
like,
be, yeah.
look at this story. It may have been better I wasn't here.
Yeah. Well,
It also
mean,
shows, like, and I'll talk about this a lot more in the next chapter, but
Mhm.
it shows his faith as well.
yeah, everything does work out eventually. There are a few different reasons for that. Frodo was stabbed with a wraith weapon, but he
Yes.
is resistant to it.
Mm-hmm.
Gandalf makes that note. And then he says the big people aren't, or at least not usually.
Mm-hmm.
So Frodo has some kind of inner strength that is allowing him to put up with a lot more,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be very relevant going forward.
Right,
And
yes.
I
Yes.
imagine that. I don't know if that gets explicitly called out or not, but like,
Not any more than here, I don't think.
okay.
But
it's pretty apparent.
yes.
It's the Esther moment of the whole book. We all know it's there, even though it's never mentioned, or something like that. There is a mention that if Frodo had kept the ring off, the ring wraiths would not have been able to really see him.
Yes.
It was him putting the ring on or giving into that temptation that made the wraiths see him very clearly and actually go and stab him.
Yeah.
And so when he engages in that temptation, then he gets gravely injured. If he had just kept his hand out of the ring for a little bit longer, he would have been fine, probably. Or at least it would have taken them a lot longer to get around to him. So
Yeah.
that was ultimately his mistake that brought them to him. So don't do that,
Mm-hmm.
basically. And I don't really think he does that much in the rest of the
No.
books. He seems to learn that lesson a
I
little
think
bit.
something we're meant to see with the, like, now that this chapter is really reflecting on the book 1 or part 1 of the Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
And most of Frodo's growth has occurred there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because later we're going to be focusing more on Sam.
Yeah.
Like when it's Frodo, Sam, and Gollum, we're mostly following Sam's perspective.
Yeah.
It's not as though Frodo has it all figured out, but what we've seen already was his arc, and it's predominantly focused on him, what we just covered.
Yeah, there is the Frodo arc. There is kind of a fellowship arc.
Mm-hmm.
Then there is like an Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli arc. And then there is a Sam arc, a Sam and Gollum arc.
Yes.
For a bit, and then that intertwines. Rip, but you can't when you have 9 main characters. Ultimately, you cannot develop all of them equally
No.
and have an actual like comprehensive story.
And really, Legolas and Gimli are casualties of character development in a way.
Yeah.
It's much worse in the movies, but here.
I wonder where
here
they
in the
got it
books,
from.
No,
I mean,
you can't. They're side characters,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
yeah, it's interesting who he chooses to prioritize and who he
Yeah.
doesn't.
Which is
But
hobbits first.
fair, yeah, and you have to pick and choose, and so that's ultimately okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice that there are 9 characters, but there are really only like 3 main characters.
I think you have to say 4 at
4.
least. Yeah,
Who's the 4th?
those the 4 hobbits.
Aragorn is not a main character.
He's more like a mover and shaker. He
Mhm.
isn't going to be developing a whole lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Um,
Keep that in mind. I guess that's true. He doesn't really have anywhere to go. He's kind of perfect.
Yeah.
Fair.
He's going to be tested the most in, at least as like our window into his struggles is going to be in the rest of this book.
I will keep my eyes out for that.
Yeah.
Excellent. So there's this mention that Rivendell resists Sauron.
Yes.
There's also mention that the Shire also
Okay.
resists Sauron. Yes.
And so obviously Rivendell's like, okay.
Yeah.
There's powerful elves like Glorfindel and especially like Elrond.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they have the power to resist. We just saw them like just
Yeah.
swat away all 9 of the Black Riders.
Yeah. Which with Gandalf's help, because he put the horses
Oh, yeah.
in the water.
We should talk about that. It's
Okay.
it's a funny little comment.
That is a weird comment. Yes.
Elrond has the power to like defend his realm with the river.
Yeah.
And Gandalf's like, I help too. You notice those horses? I magicked the water, so some of it looked like white horses. And I also, it's 2 things. It's just like the difference between them makes me laugh so much. He's like, I made the water look like horses, and I also threw a couple really big boulders in the river.
It's like, I know they got washed away, but I put the rocks in there.
Yeah.
I know the rocks didn't do anything, but
Well,
I put the rocks in there.
I think they probably did.
Maybe. No idea.
Yes, so that's the power in Rivendell.
Elrond commanded it, but if I may say so, I added some stuff. Oh yes.
Is excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's obviously the Rivendell power.
Yes.
But something I don't think I'd ever noticed before. So I read this line, I was like, what? How did I not notice this before?
Yeah.
It says there's power of another kind in the Shire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's your thought on that?
Well, honestly, my first reaction was what I was saying. I was baffled. I'd never heard about this or thought about it before.
I guess I'm just better at reading this than you are.
I don't know. It's funny. But, I mean, do you want to talk about it first, or should I keep going?
No, you go ahead and just like...
Okay. It reminds me of my favorite non-canon line from Peter Jackson, which is from the Hobbit movies.
Ooh. Which
I
one?
think I've referenced it before. I think it's the first one.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. Gandalf is talking to Galadriel, and they're like, because the Council of the Wise is like, why do you spend so much time with hobbits, bro?
Yeah.
And Gandalf's like, I found that it's not great power that keeps evil at bay, but rather simple acts of kindness.
Yeah.
I think Tolkien is sort of hinting at that idea here.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would not be at all surprised if this idea is what inspired that line in that movie.
Yeah. Wow. It's almost like that's a really thoughtful adaptation. That's crazy.
I mean, parts of it are.
Yeah. You'll have to point out to me any parts that aren't.
For the Hobbit movies?
Well, not for the Hobbit movies. That one's messy.
Yeah. It's harder for the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah,
but
as we go through.
I think I can do that.
Okay. Yeah. Make fun of them. I will resist it because they are excellent.
We should definitely do that.
Yeah.
At some point.
As we go throughout, if there's something that stand out, then just like mention it to me.
Okay.
And when we get to the end of Return of the King and there's been nothing, then we can.
I will say,
come back
like
to this.
Fellowship of the Ring, I have the least gripes as far as like the cinematic Peter Jackson adaptation.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fellowship of the Ring is my favorite of the 3 movies. It's great.
Far and away.
I just like the story the best.
Yeah.
So. There is that. It's interesting that both of those places resist Sauron. Sauron is like the upstart evil, kind of, is what it is.
100%.
And so Rivendell being the city of the elves, with apparently elves that have like been to heaven and also come back, like very close to God. The people who have been in contact with deities, essentially. Rivendell has this kind of closeness to divinity, whatever you want to say about that. Shire has really just a dedication to tradition. Is how I would phrase that, because they just stick to themselves and they just live their lives, and they always have. Mm-hmm. Well, since they quit trying, they always have. They've been very consistent, and so they're all expected to like live within those same bounds. And
sure, but they're not. Their power to resist Sauron doesn't come from like tradition for tradition's sake. Like if it was it matters like what they're preserving through tradition.
Yeah. It's just the simple action, simple lifestyle.
Exactly.
It's just they don't need to.
And I think it's really interesting. We could spend too much time thinking about this,
probably,
but I think this is something really interesting to think about, because the Shire could not have the simple, innocent lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Unless there were people putting their lives on the line to defend it.
Yes.
Which is what Aragorn is going to say later.
Yes.
That's what Gandalf even hints at here.
Mm-hmm.
Or not even hints at, he just mentions it briefly. Is the Shire's being defended by the Rangers. if they just suddenly weren't defended by the Rangers, they'd be in a really bad way.
Yeah.
Which is sort of what we see. Like, that's one.
That's what happens as soon as Frodo and his group leave.
Well,
is terrible things. Yeah.
Sure. And one thing is interesting is Aragorn will eventually call some of the greatest warriors of his kindred, of the Rangers, to come south for the war.
Okay.
And that is one of the reasons Saruman
Yeah.
comes into the Shire.
Ah, that makes sense.
Like, at that point, Saruman is so weak and, like, just diminished.
Yeah.
That he could have been resisted by just a couple of those guys.
Yeah.
And
But they're
I'm
all
not
gone.
saying, like, it's bad they left. Like, they had a
Mhm.
mission to do.
Yeah.
But we see that their simple lifestyle is compromised when they're not defended.
Yeah. True.
And then they have a different kind of arc that's important for them. But Gandalf, I think, is saying, like, Sauron's power is kind of restrained in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Not just through the important, like, defense, like the Watchers at the Rim for the Shire, but also because, like, we've talked a lot about, like, Frodo needs to leave the Shire because it's a place of naivety and innocence.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't need to leave your innocence. Let me be clear, but you leave, like, naivety. You need to grow and mature and test yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the Shire really functions very well as that kind of place. Like, this is where you start, but you need to leave to grow.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, you don't want to, like, villainize or just throw away the importance of, like, innocence or even naivety to an extent.
Yeah.
Like, there's a blessing to being a stranger to evil.
Yeah.
Like, there's a big blessing.
There can be.
And that's the whole point of childhood, is, like, you don't want to grow up too fast, you know.
Yeah. And that's even a point that's raised in the next chapter, because Saruman turns corrupted because he delved into evil too much. He researched it too much.
Yeah.
And so there is a point, and I've had that debate with some of my friends who grew up in very Christian households and were very, very sheltered from everything. So was I. But I came out of that a little bit, a lot faster than they did. Yeah. And I have a lot of friends who went to college and still, like, never watched anything that was too profane, or never, like, hung around anybody who used a certain type of language or whatever it was. They were incredibly sensitive to that, and I'm not really anymore. Used to be, but I'm not really. And so, like, which one's better? Well, it was good that we were raised in that environment to tell right from wrong and good from evil and kindness from harshness or whatever. But it's also good to step out and know what's actually there in the real world.
Yeah, so if I was forced to choose between the two, if it was ever such a simple choice, like, entirely this worldview or entirely that, I would choose yours that you just articulated. Mm-hmm. But I feel like there's a sort of a good gray area, if that makes sense.
It is good to start in the Shire.
Yeah.
It's not good to live forever in the Shire.
Exactly.
But it is really nice that Frodo got his grounding there.
And that innocence is something that helps you resist evil.
Yeah.
And
I mean, keeping that safe is the entire thing that's driving his quest.
Exactly. Like, that's the point. Frodo, that's what inspires him to leave the Shire.
Yeah. He wants somewhere to come back to.
Spoilers
that is nice.
for next chapter is Aragorn's going to say that's why he does what he does in large part.
Yeah.
Is, hey, I'm a watcher at the Rim, but I'm glad that I can keep people innocent and safe.
Yeah.
So they get to choose to grow and, like, test themselves against these things instead of having evil forced on them.
Yeah.
You know. And that's even, like, Gandalf's whole mission for the Shire, but for the whole world, really.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably one of the reasons Gandalf goes back to the Shire so often.
Yeah.
It's kind of reminding, this is, like,
trying
one of the
to
greatest
help
things I'm fighting for.
Yeah. Yeah. Seeing all that good and then trying to inspire a couple of them to step out and actually do something.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah. My notes page computer has just started going to sleep, which means we have stuck on this same point for a little bit too long.
Good point.
So yes, you can back to the initial point. Rivendell resists Sauron the Shire resists Sauron. Two different types of resistance, both good in their own way. Rivendell, because it's very aware of what's going on,
Yes.
but they're closely connected with divinity, and that scares away the evil. And the Shire, because they're very unaware of what's going on, and they just keep to themselves and keep to their simple goodness that they know.
Yeah.
And that keeps the evil away. Both are useful in their own way, to have good traditions and also to just know who God is. So if you want to resist evil, be one of those two, or have both of them. A mix of both is pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's pretty useful. When Gandalf goes to leave, like Frodo lays back, and then Gandalf looks at him.
Yes.
And Frodo is scarred, but still highly functional. Like, he's functional enough.
Yeah.
And then Gandalf says, and he says something to himself, and then leaves, which I find very odd.
Yes.
It seems that Gandalf says he's going, like, he's got further to go. He's not going to be evil. He'll become like a glass filled with a clear light for eyes to see that can.
Yes.
I have no idea what that means. I think it means...
I wanted to look more into that, but go ahead.
Well, I think it's back to the Christian idea of, like, shining your light if people are willing to see it. He's going to become a symbol.
Yeah.
A symbol for hope, to drive people to help him and get rid of the evil. And so I assume that's what that means. It's just kind of weird. Gandalf can see something and acknowledges that, but doesn't acknowledge that to Frodo.
Yes. The thing that starts that question is also sort of strange and ambiguous.
Yeah.
He says he's only halfway through.
Yeah.
And in context, I think he's talking about, like, Frodo needs to, like, rest up some more to recover from the Wraith knife.
Yeah, I think so.
But it's also really weird because it's sort of like Gandalf doesn't know Frodo's going to take the ring to Mordor, but he has this sense that maybe he will. And he said that even in the second chapter of the book, which is, you should take it to Rivendell. Maybe we'll take it all the way to Mordor. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the fact that he says that, I think, betrays some awareness he has of, like, the greater forces at work.
Yeah. And even when Frodo does volunteer in the next chapter, Elrond says, I can't force that on you, but, like, that is the right choice.
It's interesting.
Like, good.
All the really wise people expect Frodo.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Gandalf's, like, the thing that, like, sparks that whole inner monologue of his is kind of strange.
Yeah.
But I think, like, that transparency element is, like, from the Wraith knife. Like, Frodo's been, like, he's half Wraith.
Yeah.
That's probably not right. It's like 30%, something like that. He
was like right on the brink of turning into a Wraith.
Now he's like, he's not a Wraith. He's still a Hobbit, Yeah. But he's more into that spiritual or Wraith world.
Yeah.
Where the Wraiths occupy, Yep. And
they are pulling him back.
And Gandalf's like, people can see him better because he is more transparent.
Yeah.
I just want to think about that some more.
Yeah.
It's something Gandalf can see. It's like, because he's been wounded, his goodness is more apparent.
Yeah.
Or is that too cliche? I don't know.
Well, yeah. Well, I think it's more just a comment of, like, there's not even a 50-50 shot right now. He's safe. He is going to come back to the light.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to be corrupted, and he's going to go ahead. He's not going to get wounded like this ever again. He's not going to face the same kind of dangers, really. He's not going to get into these circumstances. And so it feels like, he's still got a long way to go, but he's learned his lesson. He's not going to go over to the Wraith side.
Yeah.
And even in the end, he's not going to give into the ring entirely. Well, kind of. He doesn't.
Yeah,
I
would push back on that.
Yeah.
The ring does defeat him at the end.
Yeah, it does, kind of. There are extenuating circumstances. The ring still gets destroyed.
Yes.
Right. Not really his fault, but after it's done, he's glad for it. And so, like, he never he doesn't turn into a fully corrupt individual. A lot of it's by his strength, a lot of it's by Sam's strength, and then a little bit at the end is Gollum saving him from himself accidentally.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
yes.
So I would say, like, if the ring hadn't been destroyed,
Mm-hmm.
like if there hadn't been extenuating circumstances,
Yes. Then the
Frodo-
odds are
Frodo
he would have
have
gone.
lost himself.
He
yeah.
would have.
So he escapes again by kind of a twist of fate and narrow margin. But that's something to talk about in depth later.
But Frodo at this point has gone into the Old Forest where he's been saved by Tom Bombadil. He's gone into the Barrow Downs where he's been saved by Tom Bombadil. He's gone into Bree where he's been saved by Strider. He's gone onto Weathertop where he's been saved by Strider. He's gone into the Ford where he's been saved by Elrond. Like, Frodo does not save himself in any of these circumstances.
No.
And so the point is, half of the point is the friends around you or the people around you are what's going to help you in the end.
Yes.
And so I would argue that ultimately he does get helped in the end, which is what breaks the spell.
No, he certainly gets helped in the end.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Interesting. But that's a discussion for the end of Return of the King.
There's two things following the discussion with Gandalf.
Yes.
That I think are
there is.
I don't think there's too much to like unpack there. It's really beautiful.
There is. Do you have anything about the flood that Elrond sends?
Nothing.
We already mentioned that Gandalf added some touches in there.
Yeah. Just like Elrond has the power to defend his people.
Yeah, which is interesting because Bilbo also, when Bilbo vanished with the ring, Gandalf decided to add in an extra touch. Mm-hmm. I don't know like what that is.
Oh, well, for Bilbo, I think there's a much better reason, which is if people like freak out when there's a big flash and then it disappears. Mm-hmm. I legitimately think that's less scary than him just disappearing.
Yes, but it's like...
But he is the extra
Gandalf is
guy.
kind of stepping in
that's
there.
Like kind of his whole deal.
Which is funny, but also like odd.
Exodus?
Exodus?
Yes.
What about Exodus?
The horse and the rider crushed in the sea.
Yes, that is true.
Nazgul getting messed up in the river.
All I'm gonna say is
that's pretty
the flood was released. It says right when the rider first stepped foot in the ford, but it doesn't actually take the riders out until they get one step from the edge.
Yes,
and one step from the other side. Sometimes when people pray, they expect God to just step in and immediately solve their problems.
Yes,
but much like Daniel in Daniel chapter 10, he prayed and then he waited 3 weeks. And it turned out the angel was sent out right when he prayed and then was delayed by extenuating circumstances.
That's Daniel 9. Or 10?
That's 10.
Daniel
that's 10.
10.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. And he shows up right at the end, right when Daniel needs him most. And so it's like, well, sometimes, prayer is delayed in coming, but the answer comes when you need it to. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to come immediately when you want it to. Which is
that's super important.
It's a cool point. And it is doubled because Elrond is basically the closest we've seen to God at this point. Yeah. Most powerful and most divine of all the beings in the book up until now. So I thought that's noteworthy.
Yeah. Okay. You got me thinking again.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Well, maybe it was me. It'll be quick.
Yeah.
But, there's something very, Pharaoh about the Black Riders.
Yes.
They violate the border of Rivendell.
Yeah, it's true.
And you can't push this metaphor too far because don't think the Black Riders are redeemable. Okay?
It's analogous to
there's just
the 10 plagues. There are 9 of them. They're so
good
close.
Grief. But they cross it. They cross the river. They violate that boundary. They're trying to go after a helpless dude.
Yeah.
But they could have turned back.
They could.
They didn't have to keep doing that. But it's when they keep pursuing, that's when they doom themselves to destruction.
Yeah. And there's a sense in which, right, they get to the border and they hesitate because they don't want to cross the water, and it's like the horses saying, no, don't do this.
Yes.
And only when the lead rider gets hyper agitated about what Frodo says, he breaks the sword. And then he starts to cross the water, and then the water starts coming down.
I like that.
And it's very cool.
And it sort of goes back to Bombadil says, "Your horses have more sense than you do, my hobbits."
Yes.
And it's true about the ring wraiths too.
It is. It is.
The horse is like, nah, man, let's not go here.
It's a bad idea.
That's interesting.
The horses, even though the fear has been bred out of them for the most part, they're not afraid of the wraiths like every other animal is.
Yeah.
But they are still afraid of the water, and they are still like cautious of that. So
That's cool.
very interesting. Normal horses would be fine. Like elf horse just goes right over the water because he doesn't care.
Yeah.
But those horses that have been corrupted in many ways by the evil are nervous about going into Rivendell because it's good, and they can
That's the other
sense
side of
the
it.
violation even if the ring wraiths don't get it. Okay, well I'm about halfway through with the notes on this chapter, but I don't feel like there's too much more to cover.
Yeah.
So Frodo goes back to sleep. He wakes up and now he's more fully recovered.
Yeah.
There's a mention that his reflection looks like he looked when he was young, which means he's reverting back to his pre-Baggins state. It's interesting as well. I think it's in the Council of Elrond that they call him Frodo, son of Drogo.
Yeah.
Specifically, and so there are mentions still. Yeah, I know, you're laughing at it, but I know there are mentions back to his origin of where he came from.
That's true.
He is less normal hobbit than normal hobbits are. The adventurous Frodo is back. It says he is a little like he's been through a couple things. His eyes looked out at him thoughtfully,
Yes.
which is I've now lost some of the innocence, but he is still like ready to travel, more capable of it, which I think is an interesting note.
I think so. It's really beautiful seeing just how devoted Sam is.
Mm-hmm.
Sam doesn't draw attention to it at all.
Nope.
But from talking to Gandalf, Frodo knows that Sam has been by his bedside every day.
The whole time.
So Sam's devotion, it was never in question.
Yeah. Always
Less in question.
Yeah.
It's just very, very beautiful loyalty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's and he who wanted to see the elves so much has not allowed himself to go and see the elves, but it's only now that Frodo is awake and fine, then Frodo says, like, I know that you've been here, but now go be merry tonight and go listen to your heart's content.
Yeah.
Sam was willing to forego what he wanted to do to make sure that Frodo was okay, which is nice. It's a nice picture there.
Very.
After his work is done, he's able to enjoy himself, which is the same thing that Aragorn has already talked about. It's the same thing that Frodo's already talked about.
Yes.
And now Sam's doing it too.
Delayed gratification.
Denying himself to serve other people. They get to this feast. Do you have anything on the feast?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
He talks with Glóin. It's funny that Glóin was so nice to have found, or so happy to find so kind a listener. Just goes on and on and on about all this dwarf stuff, which is...
Well, no one in the elf house wants to listen to dwarves, because
we've
they're all
seen-
interested.
We've seen you could level a legitimate critique about elves.
Oh, yes.
Not really wanting to listen to mortals.
Oh, yes.
But that's okay.
Is it?
It is.
I hate elves. Anyway.
Oh, my goodness.
We all know this at this point.
Elves are great. They're
Mid.
just different than mortals.
Dwarves are incredible.
Dwarves are awesome.
Yes, they are.
One thing about the feast that's interesting is we kind of break and spend some time describing appearances, which
Yes.
most characters are not described in great depth.
No,
It kind of sets it apart from a lot of more modern fantasy books, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's like you're always like, I had this or whatever when I looked in the mirror. It's like, give me a break, man. But like he describes the three people at the head of the table.
Yes.
Which is the three most powerful defenders in Rivendell, which
Yes.
is Elrond, Gandalf, and Glorfindel. And Frodo is seeing just their nobility, their valor, their wisdom, their royalty in a way, which is true for the elves, but not literally true for Gandalf.
Yeah.
But it is true for Gandalf.
Yeah. It's stated like it anyway.
Yeah.
It's very much like a lot of the visions of God in the Bible. Like he appears as a human being, but he's not really, but he's characterized as that or
Gandalf
whatever.
is like there's lots of like different characters who will point you to Jesus, like most notably Frodo, Aragorn, but especially Gandalf. Yeah. One thing I thought was striking with the physical descriptions, and something maybe we'll get to this episode when we talk a little bit about the Council of Elrond.
Yeah.
Is Frodo perceived that Elrond was very old.
Yes.
And had experienced great grief and great joy.
Yeah.
Like he's been on a lot of different journeys. And that's what you gain from doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. And he is described as another God parallel. He's described as someone who's very old, like having seen many winters, but healthy like a warrior.
Yes.
Because when God comes in, a lot of times he's described as old or ancient.
Yeah.
He has this bright white hair, but it's not a picture of frailty, it's a picture of power.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Like the wisdom of age, but mixed with the power of youth. And it's just very Elrond. Elrond is a very divine character. Partly because he comes from the Baron Luthien line, partly because he's very much interconnected with the different gods of the land, I guess. But he's cool. He's cool. He's cool from a stylistic standpoint. And honestly, he's not that much of a jerk. So, like,
no, Elrond,
I vibe with him.
You can't complain about Elrond.
I can complain about him, but I don't think I will. I don't think it would be justified.
Sure enough.
Yeah, you do see those three. And then you also have a mention of Arwen.
Yes.
The one female in the book.
That's true. Yeah.
And she's barely there. She doesn't say anything, but she is also described as like incredible. And so it's interesting to see, because these would be their modern day myths.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Drawn into life. And it's just nice to see a world in which that's celebrated. I feel like a lot of the modern
nobility,
America,
strength,
2025 really likes to make fun of like old stuff, old heroes. Like we like to tear them down.
Yes,
it's
that's
nice
a problem.
to see a world that is just like it's
one of the fantasy things in the world, isn't it?
It's good to have heroes, and it's good to idealize them. And nobody's saying that Gandalf is perfect. He admits that he's made mistakes, but like he also is. You just see it in him. And there's too much of stuff that tries to tear down goodness instead of glorifying in it. Yeah. And it's nice to see that here.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's nice to see that in the next chapter as well.
Yeah.
So I like those things. Let's see. Glowin is there. He mentions Balin's missing, another plot thread we'll get onto next chapter.
Exactly.
Bilbo is there.
Bilbo!
As a prank.
Bilbo surprise. If no one introduced him to Bilbo yet,
No.
Which it's fine, it's kind of funny, but I would be a little mad if I was Frodo.
Yeah. There have been a couple mentions where Frodo's like, I want to see Bilbo.
And
I wish he
just
was here. And then he goes to sleep, and Gandalf's like, well, I'll leave. And he mentions it to Glowin, and Glowin like kind of laughs a little bit, and then
like, you really loved Bilbo,
like,
didn't you?
That's crazy, man. But yeah, he does end up seeing Bilbo. Bilbo has finished his journey. He is settled in with the elves.
Yeah.
Which the place of the elves is the place of rest, which is true in the Grey Havens, which is also true in Rivendell. It's at least a stop along the way. For Bilbo to end up at.
And it really is heartwarming interaction, just about all around with Bilbo and Frodo. But there is one hint and one reminder of Frodo's burden here.
Yeah, but it is a great hint.
Yes. What do you think about Bilbo saying, "Can I see the ring"?
It's very sad. If Bilbo mentioned he wanted to go back for it, and he was stopped, Elrond and Gandalf said, no, you can't do that, which is good. And he does want to see it again. Frodo shows it to him, and then it messes up Bilbo. He essentially sees him like Gollum. Something comes over Bilbo. It just it's gross and nasty.
And I will interject here.
Yeah,
it's bad for Bilbo, and it also shows something bad for Frodo. Because Frodo, when he sees the greed in Bilbo's eyes, that's when Frodo sees Bilbo like Gollum.
Yeah.
And Frodo wants to attack him.
Yeah.
For it.
It's actually like it's a quick moment, but it is, like you're saying, it's really sad.
Yeah. But the nice thing is Bilbo, upon seeing it,
like feels something that's off and realizes, put it away. Like, I don't want that
He says,
anymore.
I don't understand why Elrond and Gandalf always told me I couldn't go back for the ring.
Yes.
But he sees the ring, and I imagine, like, Frodo has this really wicked perception of Bilbo, and I imagine that the reverse is true.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
And it's because he really loves his nephew. He says, I understand now. Put it away.
Yeah.
And then they start talking about other things.
So it's good that Bilbo, having been removed from it for a while, can now look back more objectively and say, like, I get what my friends were trying to do, which is what good friends do, which is, hey, I want to go do that bad thing, and then you say no, right? And so it's good for Bilbo to have that. It's unfortunate that it's passed on to Frodo, but Bilbo's journey is over. Like, he's done enough. Yeah. And so it's good for him to pass on. And he even fights that a little bit in the next chapter, but like not seriously, and nobody lets him do it, which is good. Last thing that is in that moment is Strider is there, or Aragorn is there, or
Dunedain.
Dunedain is there.
Yes.
And Frodo's like, you have a lot of names. And he says, yep. And that's it. He was not at the feast, even though Arwen was there. Oh. Which is...
Bro, just think about that. That's rough, man.
Yeah. He's making her wait a long time.
Whoa. Yes.
Yeah.
Elrond has a hand in that too. But
yes, probably. But like, he's out doing something. He had work. That's his excuse, which is right back to what he said in the last chapter, which is, my heart's in Rivendell. I wish I could be there, or a couple chapters ago.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I could be in Rivendell, but I've got work to do, so I can't be, which is exactly what he shows there as well. And so that's cool, and that continues to be a theme for him and also for Frodo, especially.
And we already mentioned this, but it is what Tolkien is putting at. I'm sure it was countercultural in his day too, but I look around culture in our day. It's like, it's really countercultural to say, well, why don't you just go to that house you love all the time? Like, just do what you want to do. Yeah. Why would you, like, limit yourself or be an obstacle to yourself? But Aragorn just has a more far-off perspective. Yeah. He's looking beyond his instant gratification, what he immediately wants.
It's almost like there's more important things in life than whatever it is you want to do at any given moment in time.
Yes.
And
that's sort of radical to some people.
Yeah, welcome to the fantasy element of it, because we have multiple people who actually have that view, and it's refreshing to see.
It is. It's beautiful.
People who aren't self-obsessed. It's very nice.
Yeah,
it's very nice. The only thing I have left is about the song.
Yes.
Very briefly.
That's all I have left too. Are
cool.
Couple, and it is quick notes on both songs.
Okay. Both songs. Oh yeah.
That's quick separate notes.
There's an elf word. Bilbo and Aragorn put together a song. It's really just Bilbo who puts together the song. Yeah. Aragorn's like, put a green rock in it. And that was the only thing he contributed, apparently.
Yes.
The elves, after hearing Bilbo out on whatever the song is, the elves kind of make fun of him. I can't tell if it's written to be kind of passive-aggressive, or maybe it's just like they're very familiar with each other, and so it's a kind of joking. But also,
that's
like,
more how I would read it.
All mortals sound the same to us.
Yeah.
It just comes across
and
weird.
It even is
elves.
phrased a bit more demeaning.
Yes.
Like, so that it appears demeaning.
Yes.
I think we can argue if that's the intent or not. But they say, Bilbo says, if a human and a hobbit are different as, I don't know, potatoes and tomatoes. He says something like that.
Peas and apples.
Okay. That's even more different.
That's incredibly different.
But the elves say, sure.
Potatoes and tomatoes are incredibly different.
Elves say, I'm sure to sheep other sheep seem different.
Yeah, just like, oh, what? Yeah,
it just so
toxic.
Has the effect
it's
of
terrible.
Appearing sort of dehumanizing.
Yeah, which it is. Whether or not they intended that to be insulting, I don't know. I feel insulted on Bilbo and Aragorn's behalf, but I also just don't like them.
Like with Gildor, he was a great elf who did help them really early on in the book.
Yeah,
Gildor says, "We don't want to hang out with hobbits, man."
Yeah.
And I think that is fine. I think that's sort of the main thing with their attitude here is,
Yeah.
look, we don't understand mortals. We're really different from mortals, which is true.
Yeah, it is.
But Elrond is going to show like, and there isn't like any like huge deal Tolkien makes out of this, but Elrond is so noble,
Mm-hmm.
not just because he's like half human or whatever. Like he's, for all intents and purposes, he's an elf.
The greatest of elves.
But he and Glorfindel and the wise elves are so great because they aren't dismissive like
No.
these elves. Even though it's not very serious, I don't think.
No.
It is a cut against them
Mm-hmm.
compared to the wiser elves.
But also, the wisest elf is part human. I mean, yeah.
Galadriel, who is a complete elf, also behaves like that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
She probably learned it from Elrond.
I mean, that's not possible, but I don't
Exactly.
think so.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you know Galadriel is Elrond's mother-in-law?
Bruh, I don't need to
No.
think about this. I think I've heard that somewhere before.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Did you have anything
Cool.
about the song itself?
No.
This is the most wearisome song to read in any of Tolkien's Lord of the Rings books.
Okay. I thought they were all pretty bad, but like, okay.
Bro, no.
It's interesting.
no.
I just, yeah,
The songs are amazing. It really shows.
it would work a lot better if I was listening to this as an audiobook,
Perhaps,
I think. But
maybe. You should
I don't
chant
love
the next
reading.
song you find.
no, I chant all of them, but it's just wearisome to me to chant it.
Yes. Okay.
I don't
Well,
like.
that's to your credit.
Yeah,
Thanks for trying.
I am trying.
This song
They're not
doesn't
bad,
really
it's
have
just-
a lot of cool thematic elements.
No, there's a
And
green
really,
rock,
you don't
though.
really understand what it is unless you know the original legend Tolkien wrote about.
Mm-hmm.
Most of Bilbo's lyrics are about, there's this dude named Arundel, and he was blinged out.
Yeah, that was the
So
original.
it's not quite the most
language.
interesting thing.
Yeah.
There's hints about, well, he made it to the west,
Mm-hmm.
but the song isn't even about what he did there, so it's sort of muddied and not very interesting.
Yeah.
But Arundel, he went to the west to entreat the gods to rescue. The elves had been trying to defeat Melkor,
Mm-hmm.
Sauron's master, by themselves.
Yeah.
They could not.
Hmm.
And so Arundel
Crazy.
says, please help. And they say, okay, thanks for asking for help. We've been waiting for that.
Okay.
Basically.
Interesting.
Basically, that's what they say.
Oh, so this is like, this would be an anti-elf song. If he,
The elven parts in the song are the most elven parts.
okay, but like if he's telling a story about the time that the elves should have asked for help and didn't in the House of the Elves,
Yes.
then
okay,
that
okay.
might help explain why they don't like
No.
him very much.
No.
Uh,
The elves who live in Elrond's house
Yes.
recognize, if elves hate the West, they're not with Elrond.
Okay.
There's no
Yes.
way.
Yes.
So these elves who live, I can't speak for all of them,
Mhm.
but these elves recognize they weren't caught up with leaving the West
Yeah.
because they never went there in the first place, which was
Yeah.
sort of a different problem, perhaps.
Okay.
But they're like more naive elves
Mhm.
or elves who recognize the mistakes of their ancestors.
But you can recognize that it was good that the gods stepped in, and you can also recognize that the elves should have asked for help and didn't, and you can also be mad at someone for bringing that up.
You can.
Yeah.
No. I don't think there's any indication that that's what's going on here.
Okay.
They say this is a great song, but we can't tell which mortal. Like, that's the contention. It
Yeah.
isn't that he presented the song.
It's like, well, it's a fine song. We just
Yeah.
hate the guy who sung it and brought it
We
up.
don't hate him.
Yeah, we just think he's
All right,
insignificant.
there's
and don't
one
care
other
about
thing
him.
to talk about this Arundel song.
Okay.
It's interesting to note that Elrond will mention this later, but Arundel is Elrond's father,
Okay.
this ancient
Cool.
character of legend. He's also the North Star.
Oh. Okay.
The gods give him a ship, and he has the last Silmaril,
Yes.
and that Silmaril is the North Star
Okay.
in their world.
I thought there was something about like constellationism, but
Yeah.
I didn't really get that. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
The song does not do a good job of spelling out the
Cool.
legend being referenced.
It was very, yeah.
It is, your ancestor got blinged out. He was great.
Okay. That we didn't need that description again, but there we go. Yes. Frodo and Bilbo leave when the elves start singing, which is also funny. We all hate the elves singing.
They just want to catch up.
Yes, and so they go off to chat. They do see Aragorn and Arwen together,
Yes.
at least briefly, for a little bit. So that's nice, and then they pass on and they leave those two. They hear an elf song, which is
Elbereth Gilthaniel.
I hate it. I can't read it.
Well, if you wanted to, you could find a translation.
But I don't really want to. It's a secret. I mean, is there anything significant about that song? I'm sure there is, but I wouldn't know what it is.
Yeah. The stars are a light in the darkness. It's very cosmic, right? Is they're singing praise to this goddess of stars.
Yeah.
Who is like light in the darkness.
Yeah.
The elves perceive they're in a time of great evil. And they're about to discuss, hey, we're kind of on the cusp of things going right or going wrong. We have to take action right now. So this is sort of like darkness is settling. What are we going to do? Yeah. And I think like it's just very religious.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is.
Interesting.
And you go through Middle Earth, one fantastic element is you have a lot of good people who don't overtly mention religion or gods. Whenever worship is specifically mentioned, it's some of the men of the east or south worshipped Sauron. That's the only time the word worship is actually used.
Nasty. Okay.
But you can see elves have a really all the elves we meet.
Yeah.
To greater or lesser extents. And we mostly meet those who are wise and do really embody this. Is they have a reverence for the West.
Okay.
And they have a humble and wise attitude overall.
Interesting.
And it's tied to this reverence. Like their wisdom is tied to this reverence they have. Yeah. And even Aragorn's wisdom and knowledge is tied to the similarities he has with the elves here.
Cool.
Boromir will be in contrast to that.
Yes.
As he's superstitious about the elves.
Based?
No.
Oh, never mind.
And Aragorn says that this is evidence that learning has decreased in Gondor.
Well, I mean, Aragorn says a lot of stuff.
No,
we'll
think
talk
that's
about
true,
that
though.
in the next chapter. Maybe.
Their wisdom and their resolve to help this land that they can leave.
Yeah.
Like that's sort of where the metaphor of the West sort of breaks down a bit is not everyone can just leave to the West. That's something elves can do.
Yeah.
Even though like thematically, yes, go to the West. Every day, 100%.
True.
But elves can actually do that. But some of them are choosing to stay and help. Some of them stay because they're scared of like confronting the gods they betrayed.
Fair enough.
But we don't really read about those.
There's a
elves.
whole lore drop where the elves didn't all like the gods in the West, which Andrew and I have talked about separately. So if he's mentioning stuff like that,
I think we've mentioned it on recording too.
I don't remember.
Anyway,
I don't remember.
There's a lot of really cool lore to look into here.
Yeah.
Tolkien just kind of hints at it, but the reverence for the elves is tied to their valor and their wisdom.
Yeah, and when in danger, Frodo did call upon
Elbereth.
the Elbereth Githoniel, the thing.
Yes.
And so he's either religious or at least invoking the name of God in some sort. And so you see a little bit there, but it goes understated. Frodo then goes to bed.
Yeah.
Bilbo intimates that Frodo has a much longer story to go.
Yes.
And we'll get to that later.
Yes.
And then you turn the page and it's the Council of Elrond.
Yeah. What do you think?
No.
We'll stop here.
We're stopping here. The deal was if we hit 50 minutes on mini meetings, then we might go in a little bit.
We might have to divide Council of Elrond into two. We'll see what happens. Maybe not.
We'll see. Probably.
Probably.
We'll see. All right. Well, thank you for listening. Hopefully that is something interesting. That was mini meetings, and next we'll do at least half of the Council of Elrond.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Maybe all of it. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see you then.